Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of After the Finish Line. This week on the podcast, Rob spoke to Ian and George. That was our guest this week. And I've got another power couple of the Instagram running community in Ruth and Adrian. We will be dissecting this week's episode. So firstly, thank you very much, Ruth and Adrian, coming on. How are you two today?
We're really good, thank you.
Yeah, we're great.
Really
thank you, Jack. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Good. Enjoying the sunshine, I hope, before the rain comes?
Definitely.
It's lovely. It's a great time to be a PE teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. Better than me being stuck in my office, sweating my heart out in this conservatory. Firstly, on the podcast this week, I thought it was really good, but Rob did another little would you rather, which I like. And his would you rather was, would you rather do a marathon where every mile you have a shot of your choice, so an alcoholic shot of your choice, or have a slice of chocolate cake every mile? So what both of your answers are? Go to you first, Adrian.
Oh, it's a tough decision. I think if I wanted to finish the marathon, I guess the chocolate cake is the better option because you can kind of deal with that. But the alcohol does sound tempting. I'd mix it up if I could, but I think I'd go for the chocolate.
Yeah, I think it does. What about you, Ruth?
Oh, chocolate cake. I reckon I could run a marathon and eat a slab of chocolate cake every hour. I know Rob said it, you didn't think that'd be possible. I think I could give that a go.
Should we hold it to you? Maybe a world record?
Yeah.
It's an experiment, isn't
it? I think if anyone can, I can eat. Yeah, so definitely cake, 100%.
Yeah, perfect. So I think I'm probably on your boat with the chocolate cake there because I don't really fancy having alcohol and then going for the post-run drinks anyway. So that's our would you rather. I think we're all in the same boat with chocolate cake. I think they were on the podcast as well. The other bit for the podcast, obviously I wasn't there for recording this time, so it upset me a bit that I couldn't get involved in the conversation. Carbon plated shoes. Now, I know you, Ruth, have been running in some recently. What do you think about them? What's your experience of running in them? And do you think they're a bit too much, or do you think it's nice to see the sport progressing with a bit of technology?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to someone who's just got a PB running in carbon plated shoes, and I've never run in them before. So obviously, I suppose that tells you what my thoughts are. No, I love the fact that technology is pushing the sport on. I've always been a big motor racing fan, and I think it's similar. Like, if the technology is out there, I think it's great that, we're looking at how to develop it and how to push people further. I also agree with what Rob said, that I think probably people running at my sort of pace, it's probably more placebo effect. I think there's an element that you just feel good because you've got really nice shoes, and that makes you want to push that bit more. It's not going to suddenly take an hour off a marathon time for me, so I don't think, for me, it isn't the same as cheating or doping or in that kind of bracket. But I do get that at the elite level it is different and seconds count, don't they? So, there I get that sponsorship comes into play and it's not always a level playing field. But I think that's because some of the companies have put more investment into running than other sports. So fair enough to them, really. I mean, obviously, I wore the Nike, so they're the ones that everyone's talking about. But I think other companies are catching up now, and that's great to see. So I'm all for it, really, I have to say.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, a lot of companies are catching up. I know I'll come to you in a minute, Adrian. So there's a company called Atreyu. I don't know if you've heard of them. I think they're international based somewhere, but you can buy their shoes for £80.
Yeah.
Adrian, I don't know, have you ever run in carbon fibre shoes?
I haven't run in them, to be honest, but I think whether you ran in carbon footwear or not, I think you'd have got that PB because that was the way you trained. But for me, it reminds me of years ago when Adidas brought out the new football boots, and it was the David Beckham boot with the Predator, and it was a game changer, and everyone said it's an unfair advantage, but it's not for me. Again, it's about that. If you're advancing technology, you're going to make it available for everyone. So it will become a level playing field. If someone is stealing a quick march, if one company is doing it, other people can use it. I actually don't mind that. I'd embrace it, and I think it's good for the sport that we have this development. It'd be interesting to see in a few years' time whether it does catch on, whether it is something that stays with us, or whether we move on to the next thing, really. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. I don't mind it.
No, he wants some now.
I am envious.
Now he's seen me running them, he wants some for his marathon.
They look nice as well, I feel. And I think, like you said, Adrian, there's only so much they can do. They've got carbon fibre. I know Matt said what they're going to do next, put springs in them. I know the ones I've got have little AirPods in them. So it's how far are they going to push it? What else can you do next? I think there needs to be a law. I know they've got the law in it now, how much stack height you can have and all stuff like that. But I think that's quite important. Like you said, Adrian, you want a pair of carbon fibre shoes. I think it's better that cheaper ones are coming onto the market now. If you were saying it, say you went to a shop, I don't know how much you spend in your running shoes now, but I'd say average price is sort of around, say, £60 to £100 for a daily trainer or something.
Yeah.
And if there's £80 ones there, I'm sure it's worth sort of thinking and picking up.
Yeah.
So the carbon fiber shoes thing, I think it's okay at the moment. I can see the pain in like the professionals, like you said, Ruth, at the start. But onto the main bit of the show, Rob's chat with Ian and George, a running couple like yourself. How do you find supporting each other's goals? So say Ruth's training for her marathon PB. How do you find that, Adrian? Are you able to support her lots, or is there any times where you're both shooting for goals and you both got to help each other out? 1 week Ruth's helping you, 1 week you're helping her.
Well, I think it's really helpful for both of us, to be honest, because there's that constant push. You know, you don't feel like you're monopolizing time, because we're both trying to challenge ourselves and push ourselves, and therefore we're doing that to each other. Which means we do have to be organised. There is a challenge there which I'm not particularly the best at. I'd like to call it, I'd say I'm spontaneous and what have you, but actually I'm just disorganised. I don't have that clear vision. And one of the things that supporting Ruth has done, because she has a very clear vision, she has a plan that she's very good with, that's made me up my game in terms of that and think, right, okay, well, I need to get my run in, so I need to plan my run and know what I'm doing. And I think it's helped us both in that respect to improve our sort of goals or our ability to meet our goals by making sure we know exactly what we're doing, when we're doing it, and then how we can support each other. We talk about tag teaming, you know, it's one in, one out. So just be ready to change over. That can be a challenge, but it's has its
I know like Ruth and Sammy do that with their kids, like Rob and Sammy will do that. Rob will come home and then Sammy goes straight back out the door again, so someone can be there for kids. And Ruth, for you, I know your marathon PB you got recently. Do you feel like you can share the success with someone else as well, because they've been there for it all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, George said this on the podcast, how lucky she felt being in a couple where both people train, because it could be a sort of resentment or argument if one of you is really dedicated and the other one doesn't really get that. And I sort of resonated with that a lot when she said it. We're really lucky that we both are really active. We're both, if one of us is a bit crabby, or, you know, it'll be like, well, have you, you know, even for your run sort of thing, like we both use that to help with our mental health and with our mood. So absolutely, we absolutely celebrate each other's successes. I think we're sort of competitive, but because we're not at the same pace, it's not like a competitive with each other, but we both like to drive each other on to do better. And we're always there at each other's races. If we're both racing, we're lucky in normal times that we've got a family that will bring our children along, so they always celebrate it with us too, and they understand what a PB is and they understand that kind of thing. It's just so much part of our life. So yeah, I think we're really fortunate that we're just a running family, and you know, if I'm out doing 10 miles on a Wednesday, Adrian's not like, well, hang on a minute, that's weird, he's doing it too. So we've got that understanding, and I think that really helps.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing, understanding of sort of what each other are doing. I know my partner, when she got into running, she could understand why I was running all the time, because you sort of get a little hook on it. And I mean, obviously you've got kids. Is there much of a chance where you can run together? So say if the kids are with someone, can you get out and run together? And how does that go? Tell me. Like, I know if I run with my partner, sometimes I'll be going off a bit too far ahead. She's like, Jack, come back. So do you ever get to run together? And how is that?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we used to say when we first got together that our ideal date would be a run and then some food. So like before the kids, we did it loads. Obviously now it is more tricky, and we are lucky that we have a support bubble, so he will still have the kids. So we do run together sometimes. That's our idea of a great thing to do when we have got kid-free time. You'll find us running together. How we are, well, Aid's a lot faster than I am, even though he's run a lot longer than me. So basically I've run much longer. He impressed me by telling me that he wanted to run a marathon, and I was like, I've already run one. And then he ran one and smashed my time, of course, so that was great. That went down well. But so he is a lot faster, but he is actually, I have to say, he's really, really good at running at my pace. And we have run races together where you've slowed down to pace me, or not really necessarily to pace, just to keep me company. He's very calm in a race. He keeps his head in a race. He doesn't lose it, and I historically typically do. And so or most of the time that's a good thing. Sometimes I do get really angry at him because he's like, stay calm, it's amazing. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I hate life. I hate running. I hate myself.
You did this to me.
Why are you here? Just go.
Yeah.
So we've had both. We've had the good and the bad. But actually, no, we love running together. And we don't do it, obviously, now as much as we used to. But it's something that we really enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's been nice. In the last few marathon blocks, we've managed to do that where if we're both training for a marathon, we've managed to get at least one of them in. And it's a nice kind of, especially one of the long runs, that's quite a nice memory to take into the marathon, because when those times are hard and you're thinking, I've got to push, I've got to, and you think back over your training, you think, I can do this, and you remember those runs where it was not just covering the distance, it was an enjoyable experience. It was a fun thing that we shared, and that's helpful, because it just reminds you that's actually why we do it. We're all competitive, we're all chasing times, but fundamentally it's about enjoying what we do.
Exactly. And I think, like you said, being able to get those training runs together is quite important. And if sometimes you're running the same marathon together, like they're going to be coming through soon enough.
That's true.
I think it's quite nice. And what you said about the kids knowing what a PB is and stuff, I don't know if you do this, but it's something I want to do when I eventually do have kids. There's a YouTuber I watch, and whenever he gets a PB or a win, he takes the kids out for like a takeaway. So it teaches them that working hard, if you get the results after working hard, you get takeaway. So I think that's nice. And like you said, the kids understand what like the running is, so they can see mummy and dad going out and training hard and what it all means. Before we go, I just said takeaway there. What is your pre-race meal? I'm on the pizza boat. I know quite a few people are. Some people on the pasta boat. Are you both strongly pizza or strongly pasta?
Strongly pizza.
I've drifted into the pizza camp.
I've dragged him into the pizza camp.
Historically, probably would have said pasta, but I think I've drifted into the pizza.
Yeah, 100%. All of our PBs have been run on pizza the night before, I think, haven't they? Yeah, we are pizza with you, Jack.
And what toppings do you have?
Oh, now we don't have long to discuss this. I am controversially, I like ham and pineapple, which I know is a divider, isn't it? But thankfully, no one else in the family likes it, so I get to eat the whole thing. What would you go for?
Probably before the race, I think I'd go something veggie, something like a Fiorentina.
Yeah, you like spinach.
Something with spinach in there, something like that.
That sounds nice, to be fair. Yeah. And it looks pretty for the Instagram as well. That's what
which is what it's all for, absolutely.
Perfect. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And we will now pass on to Rob for his quickfire questions with Ian and George.
Thank you, Jack. I hope you guys are enjoying After the Finish Line. And I also hope you're enjoying the episode that came out on Thursday with our amazing chat with Ian and George. As an extra bonus feature, I've got them back and we're going to be firing some quickfire questions at them. Guys, are you ready for some tough questions to come at you?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Okay. What we're going to do, of course, Ian, because you are such a gentleman, I know you do this anyway, but I'll ask you each question. We'll go to George first, we'll go to you second. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wonderful. Right, let's do it. So, what is your all-time favourite race?
I just don't think anything can compare to the London Marathon. So, for me, been very lucky to run it twice, VLM.
Yeah, I think London Marathon too. Specific year was, I think we got probably a 5:25.
Personal worst.
Yeah, I ran it on a torn ligament. You ran it just
not
a
very
shocker.
much training.
And we, at a point, we realised it was going to be a slower race, and we just decided to enjoy it. We were eating cake, feeding dogs, stroking dogs, not feeding dogs. And it was just, we enjoyed the most of it, and that kind of made us realise it's not all about times.
Yeah, good message. And everyone always says London if they've run it as well, by the way. Okay, so George, coming to you first. What's your favourite park run course?
Local one, one lap, which is always a good thing. Pantanga Park.
Pantanga Park. There we go. Ian, same or different?
Well, Pangchanga, because I don't say it as she does. I think it should be called Pangchanga. I don't get to do many park runs, and that one's really good. Loads of people run with dogs, and it's just a great little route.
Yeah, good recommendation for anyone who's in the local area. Okay, George, what's your favourite pre-race meal?
Night before,
Night before, pizza. What
pizza.
toppings?
Well, I'm probably a bit of a weird one. Like anything that's if it's got artichoke on, then ham and artichoke with black olives. Yeah, I'm there.
No, that sounds good. What about you, Ian? Pizza?
Pizza as well, but we had, what was it, Kedgeree pizza once?
Oh yeah,
and that was before London. Yeah, pizza. And I know I won't share pizza. It's all mine.
No. Everyone always says pizza or pasta. That's the ongoing debate we have when we do these quickfire questions. Okay, so George, coming to you again then. What is the one piece of running kit that you cannot live without?
There's a few that I rely on for most of my runs, but one stance socks. Can't run in any other socks. Yeah.
There we go. Ian?
Jaybird headphones. So I've got the Jaybird Vista. I have a deep-rooted emotional connection with music. I cannot run without music. I don't even walk without music on my own. Sometimes when I'm with her, I listen to music. So, I take them everywhere I go, and the case charges the headphones. So, it rarely runs out of battery. So, yeah, Jaybird Vista.
Good plug for Jaybird Vista there. Yeah, definitely check that out. Okay, so George, coming to you. Do you prefer running in the morning or running at night?
I think the morning, yeah. I have to run in the morning at the moment anyway, but yeah, morning it makes you feel good for the rest of the day.
Get it out of the way. Early bird. How about you, Ian? Same?
Mostly morning. Sometimes I like running, I like running at night where you mentally go quite deep, quite dark, and just slog it out. But there's nothing like a daylight run.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, then. How about running in the heat or running in the pouring down rain?
Rain.
Rain, Ian?
Rain. Yeah, rain. I prefer rain to anything. If it's raining, that's the best time.
Yeah,
shorts and t-shirts still there.
So here's one that I think is going to be interesting when we come to Ian, but we'll come to George first. What is your pump up?
Crap taste.
Yes.
No, just because Ian's been talking about music so much. God, I wish I could read that bit, but we're not going to. George, what's your pre-race pump up song? What's that song at the start line that just gets you ready to go?
Maybe Unexpected, but Blackout by Linkin Park.
Oh, absolute banger. Yeah, no, into that. Ian, what about you, dude?
Dead Butterflies by Architects. It changes all the time. Most of the time it's got trumpet in, Winner. But I tend to pick a different album every run just because I like discovering new music and rediscovering old music. But yeah, Architects, their latest album, absolutely incredible.
Good answer. Right, last one for you then. A little bit of wisdom for our running community. George, I'll come to you first. What's the one piece of advice you would give to a new or aspiring runner?
It'd have to be to go slow, a lot slower than run until it feels slow, and then slow down some more. Run slow, yeah. Yeah,
slow. Brilliant advice that not enough people heed, I don't think. Ian, what about you?
So it's don't let one bad run ruin your running career. If you had a bad job, if you had a good job and you had one bad day, you wouldn't quit your job. So just don't let one bad run ruin your running career.
Yeah, absolute words of wisdom. I love it. Right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Jack, I'm going to come back to you now, but if you haven't checked out this week's episode with Ian and George waxing lyrical about their running journey as an online running community power couple, you need to go and check it out. Jack, back to you.
So there you have it, guys. That's Ian and George. Thank you so much for them coming along and doing those quick fire questions with Rob. They're both on the pizza boat, same with Ruth and Adrian and myself. So the pizza boat is probably sinking by now because there's so many people on it. I don't know where you pasta fans are, but if you are, please comment down below because I think the pasta boat is pretty lonely at the moment. If you enjoyed this week's episode of After the Finish Line, you can go back and check out Ian and George's episode. And Ruth, who was on with her husband Adrian, her episode is also on Series 1. So go onto Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, scroll the way up and you'll see it. Come back next Saturday to listen to me with my velvet blazer for another episode of After the Finish Line. But in the meantime, press that like button, subscribe and tick the notification bell to get any notifications when we upload a new video. So that's Make Matt Run, After the Finish Line, Forfeits and any other nonsense we get up to. Next week on the podcast we've got Roberto Aurora and he will be chatting to Rob about his running journey. He's had a massive claim to fame on Instagram, so give that a listen. I know it's going to be a really good one. And I will catch you next Saturday. Bye.